Hey, so in this practice, we're going to go through together a few core warm-ups that can be really supportive to do before you start your yoga practice. So it's a great way to sort of warm up the body and also to really connect with the muscles around your core, which can then sort of support you really as you move through the rest of your practice. So you can begin coming to lie on your back, hugging the knees into your chest. And before we start, we'll just make a few circles with the knees. Particularly if you're doing this first thing in the morning, your body might feel pretty stiff. So it can be nice to just first get a little bit of movement here. Same could be said if you've been sitting a lot and you're coming to do this short practice. And then just coming back with the knees in the middle. Now we're going to bring our feet, so our feet are sort of in line with the knees. Knees are coming above the hips, and we're going to reach the arms up here. The feet are reaching forward. Hopefully you already feel a little bit of engagement here in the belly, feeling that sinking down through the back. Inhaling, lengthening through the arms, so we're really finding that stability here through our core. And then right arm comes overhead, left leg reaches away. And then inhaling, coming back through the center. Exhale again, right arm and left leg. And inhaling. And then we'll do this a few times, just on the same side. And if you are feeling a little bit of tenderness in the lower back, you could see how it feels to kind of roll a little bit up with the head, so that might sort of ease a little bit the lower back down. And then we'll do a few times the opposite side. So right leg and left arm, and inhale, exhale, and inhale. And you might notice some parallels here to some of the things we typically do to start a yoga practice on our hands and knees. And the difference here on the back is there's a lot more possibility to ground through the back, to really find that kind of flat back, particularly if you're a little bit more on the flexible side, and engage through the core. Great. We're going to start to alternate. So we'll do right arm, left leg, inhaling, and then left arm and right leg. Inhale, exhale, and inhale, exhale, inhale. And then you could start to either speed the movement up a little or slow it down and maybe just kind of pause and then come through the center. So that's kind of the nice thing here as you're doing different days, you can experiment different ways. And then slowly from here, we'll come all the way back. Just hug the knees into the chest and rock the knees a little from side to side. Coming back to that same position then, so knees are right above the hips, feet reaching out, and arms up here. Now we're going to experiment reaching both legs and both arms away and coming back. This feels too intense, you can just stay with those single arm and legs. So particularly if you've got kind of lower back tension, that can feel nice. Otherwise, both arms and legs forward and in. Particularly as you're reaching the arms and legs away. See if you can ground through the lower back and through the middle, come back. And we'll just do this a couple more times. Great. Doing this one more time. And then we'll hug the knees in, and this time we'll just rest feet together, knees apart. And just relaxing a little around the hips. Now, there's all sorts of variations you can do here. I'm just picking a couple out that can feel kind of nice and get that little bit of a rhythm going. The other sort of thing I'd like to do is also being on the belly and more working the back of our core. So you can come up here. You can come over onto your belly. We're going to start with a series here. Arms are reaching out, head is dropping down here. So we're going to come a similar pattern. We're going to do right arm and left leg and lower, right arm, left leg and lower. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, and then change sides. So left arm, right leg, and exhale, inhale and exhale. Doing a couple more times on this side. And then we'll just come to rest. You can make a small pillow with the hands here. Bend one knee if you like. It can feel quite nice again, relaxing the lower back. And then slowly coming back. And we'll try a few this time again, both arms, both legs. So inhale and exhale. So this time you could also lift a little more up. So inhale, maybe lifting chest up, and exhale. Hopefully you don't have a plant in the way here. Inhale and exhale. Doing this a couple more times. And again, if it felt a little much, you could do just arms or just legs. And then we'll come to rest opposite cheek. You can bend the opposite knee and just take a couple of breaths. Slowly coming back. And then finally, we're going to come to strengthen a little bit the sides of our torso, our obliques here, and all sorts of other muscles. So we're going to roll onto one side. So you could come onto your right elbow to start with. Have your left foot on top of the right, and then just step that left foot forward. Now the right elbow is grounding. We're lifting up out through the side. We're lengthening that right side. And you can just have, if you like, that left hand on the hip. And you're really kind of actively trying to create that length and space here. And then if you're pretty comfortable here, you can kind of ground through the elbow outside of the foot, and we're lifting up with the hips. So we're keeping a little bit of firmness in the belly here, having to work a little bit harder here. Left hand could be on the hip, or you could reach up through that left arm. If you can still allow the breath to be steady. And then exhale, slowly release and lower down. And then we'll just come over to the opposite side. So left elbow can be down, right foot steps in front of the left. Bring the right hand to the hip. We'll first keep the hips on the ground so we can work a little bit more on the kind of alignment and technique. So you want as best as you can your hips to stack. It's personally a little bit of a weak area for me, so my body does have the tendency to try to move away from this. So just notice if that's the case for you. And then seeing if you can ground through outside of the foot and your left elbow a little more. lift up through the hips and maybe coming up here a little higher. Allowing your breath to be steady. Seeing if you can keep that kind of stacking one hip on top of the other. And then exhale, slowly release. We'll come all the way over to the right. And again, you could stay with these two positions. So with the hips down, with the hips lifted. If you do find this one sort of relatively okay, the final option could be one foot on top. So we're kind of more in that classic side plank. If this doesn't feel appropriate, you can just keep one foot in front or even the hips down and kind of progress over time. If you're still up, you can slowly release. We'll come to the other side. This is the last one. You can ground through that left elbow, right foot steps forward. Inhale, lift up. And then if you like here, you're trying to maintain that position of the hips, stacking the feet maybe. And again, if this felt too much, you could step the foot back again. Seeing if you can stay with your breath. And then exhale, slowly release. And finally, you can just come to lie on the back, feet together, knees apart. And take a moment to close the eyes. So from here, you can bring the knees into the chest, roll up to sitting. And up to you now, maybe you just wanted to do this practice on its own. Otherwise, you can go ahead with the rest of your yoga practice. And if you're looking for more guidance on practicing yoga at home, do check out my Yoga at Home resource. So you can find links for that in the comments. And otherwise, I'll see you next time.